Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another Battle to the Death for you. Today, we have the Steel Will Modus versus the Kershaw Natrix Carbon Fiber. Very excited to do this, and I know you guys are excited about this comparison review too. As soon as I put the review of this up, I was flooded on Instagram and email and comments and stuff saying you got to compare the two because they are almost exactly the same price. Looking at $41.99 versus $42.95 for the Natrix. They're almost the same price, exactly the same blade length, same blade stock thickness, same kind of general intended use. An obvious comparison. And I'm excited to get to it. But let's talk about the knives individually first. This is one of Steel Will's China-made D2 versions with the FRN handles, liner lock, D2 3¼ inch blade. This is a two-time defending champion of our Battles to the Death. It's faced two other knives and won both. You'll be able to see that in the playlist that will be tagged here at the end of the video. It's a great knife. It really, really is. Again, $41.99, really good value. And it's just a good, hard-working knife. Now, the Natrix is a kind of an interesting design. So the Natrix has been around for a while, but it used to be an assisted knife. Now they've taken it and switched it to a manual ball bearing flipper, which I think is an awesome choice. Made it a little bit more expensive, but still at $42.95. It's very close in price to the Modus. It has Kershaw's really cool subframe lock design, the same that was started on the ZT 0770, and they've trickled it down. They have a lot more Natrix's versions coming out. I've also got a D2 steel version with copper handles coming, and they also are making a larger one made in the U.S. called the Bare Knuckle. This is not made in the U.S. This is made in China. Very, very cool knife. The only downside to it, as I said in the review, it is 8CR13 MOV. Wah, wah. It's not the best steel in the world, but it's still a really good value, really good knife. Very light, slim carry. Let's do some stats before we get too much farther. We'll start out with the Natrix because that's what we're talking about. Your challenger, the Kershaw Natrix Carbon Fiber. Overall length of 7.5 inches, blade length of 3.25 inches, blade thickness 0.11 inches. You have a handle thickness of just 0.43 inches and a weight of a very svelte 2.9 ounces. Let's move on to the Modus. You have an overall length just a hair longer. You're looking about 7.6 inches, maybe a touch over that. You have a blade length, again, 3.25 inches. Blade thickness, again, 0.11 inches. Handle thickness, slightly thicker at 0.50 inches. And a weight of 3.45 ounces. Now, let's get into how this thing works. So what we do, we're going to be 7 categories. We're going to have, first up is aesthetics and design. Next up is quality, blade, ergonomics, carry, deployment, and value. You got that? And then we're just going to add them all up at the end of those 7 categories and declare a winner. So let's get rolling. First of all, we will go in aesthetics and design. Aesthetically and just design-wise, way clear win for the Natrix Carbon Fiber. I've never been too hot on the look of this knife at all. I don't like the climbing wall look on the FRN scales. They're done well enough, but I don't like the look of it. The overall shape of it's just kind of clunky. It's just another liner lock flipper. This one's running on phosphor bronze, but there's nothing really particularly imaginative going on with the design. It's just another one of these kind of sheep's footy sort of blade flippers, where the Natrix is a very pretty knife in this trim. I don't like the look of some of the other Natri, but I do like the look of this one. It does have a coated blade, which I normally hate, but I love the look of this. They call it a tie-coated blade, but I don't know. I think it's just a DLC, but it looks really nice. It also will help protect that 8CR13 MOV blade, which has a tendency to corrode a little bit. I love how the pivot and the subframe lock and the pocket clip all match. I think this is just a carbon fiber coating. It's just a little carbon fiber laminate. It's real carbon, but it's just a little carbon fiber sticker kind of on top of it. But I think it actually looks cool. I love the color of it. This does come in a couple other colors, so if you want, I think it comes in a green, and I think maybe there's another one, I'm not sure. But if you want other colors, then that's that option. This only comes in this color combination, but this color combination is a pretty darn good one. I do like that the little tiny bit that is visible when it's in your pants is blue jean blue, so it is going to kind of match blue jeans. Let's face it, we're probably Americans watching this. We wear a lot of blue jeans, so it matches. That's cool. And it's a sub frame lock, which is kind of cool. There aren't many of those out there. So that means this is G10 on one side, and then on just one slab, and then on this side you just have just enough frame lock to make it the sub frame lock, but it's mostly still G10, which is very, very cool, and it works great. So design and aesthetics, absolutely, very clear win to the Natrix carbon fiber. Quality, both of these are fine. I don't really have any problems with either of them. I have had problems in the past with Steel Will's China D2 ones. It was a long time ago. I think they've got that all fixed now. But I've also had problems with Chinese Kershaws. So I got to call quality even, Stevens. They're both of these particular examples are fine. This has been through a lot of use and a lot of comparison things. As I said, this is its third one, and it's held up fine. I've put it through some use. I've had no issues. This also, blade centering's great. Everything looks fine. I don't expect any issues with it. It's been completely fine. So I just have to call it a tie as far as quality goes. Neither of them have anything that makes me go, "Nyeh." So, tie. Blade. Identical blade stock thicknesses. Identical thickness behind the edge. Both about 22 thousandths. Both very similar blade shape. But the win has to go to the Steel Will cut jack. Cut jack. I have cut jacks on the brain because I just did another video with one of those, the Steel Will Modus, because it's D2, which is going to hold an edge a lot longer than the HCR13 MOV. Also, the sharpening choil is done much better on the Modus. The blade on the Modus is much better, I do have to say. Now, I will say the one thing I don't like about HCR13, I know both of these steels are supposed to be known to be a bit prone to corrosion, but for some reason, I don't know if it's my weird climate, I've always had more problems with HCR than I have had with D2. And this is coated, so it does alleviate that a bit, and it is a good coating. I have put this through quite a bit of use. It has been one of my regular EDCs lately, actually, because it's so light and thin. We'll get to that in a minute. But the coating's held up well, and it, with that, protects the corrosion, so that's good. But still, it's still HCR13 MRV. It's super easy to sharpen, but you're going to do it a whole lot. If you don't mind sharpening, then fine. D2 is harder to sharpen, but you're not going to do it as often, and I haven't found it to be a complete bear to sharpen. It's not like a terrifying chore to sharpen. It's okay. So I have to give the win to the Steel Will Modus because D2. That's about it. That about sums it up, and the choil. So clear win on the blade to the Steel Will. Ergonomics, there's nothing wrong with the Natrix. It feels perfectly comfortable in hand. The jimping on it, I will say, is very good, probably better than what it is on the Modus. They're in very similar spots, but the jimping's better. But this doesn't have any hot spots, but it just doesn't feel as comfortable in the hand as the Modus does. Excuse me. The Modus feels much more comfortable in hand. I don't know if it's because it's a bit thicker. This climbing wall, ugly FRN does do a great job of holding your hand in place. The jimping's not quite as good, but it's good enough. And it just is a bit more comfy. Again, nothing wrong with the Natrix, but this is definitely more comfortable in my hand. If I was going to spend hours hacking at stuff, I'd much rather have that in my hand than this. Now, carry. Another clear win for the Natrix. Not only is it a bit narrower, it's half an ounce lighter, which is nice, but also it comes stock with a deep carry pocket clip, which matters a lot to me. I'm a deep carry pocket clip fan. This does not. Maybe that doesn't matter to you, but also, this is only a $42 knife. I'm not sure if there are deep carry pocket clips available for these, but if there are, they're probably 25 bucks. Are you going to spend 25 bucks on a pocket clip for a $42 knife? Probably not. This already comes with one, and being a Kershaw, if it didn't, all you'd have to do is ask nicely and they would send you one because they're cool like that. So, carry lighter, slimmer, slides in and out of the pocket easier. This is a bit grippy going in and out of the pocket. Carries lower. Definitely easy win for the Kershaw Natrix carbon fiber. Deployment. Well, I guess I'll wait to open this up since we're at this category. As you saw, the Modus deploys fine. It does run on phosphor bronze washers instead of bearings like this does, but the deployment on it's pretty good. Detent's really good. I've never had to play with it at all. Detent's always been great. It doesn't drop. You have to really shake it shut if that matters to you. It might not at all, but there's that. Now, the Natrix, the detent's a little strong, not too much, and I kind of get a feeling it'll break in pretty well, but it's on bearings, so it just rockets right out, and the subframe lock, it makes a much more satisfying, secure bang. And since this is about deployment, we can include the lockup too. I don't know, there's something that feels more secure on the lockup with this than with this fairly slim liner lock. I've never had a problem with steel wheels, liner locks failing or anything like that, but I'd feel a bit more confident in this, I guess. And when it comes time to close it, it runs on bearings, slight little flick of the wrist, and it's shut. So, got to give it to the Natrix on the deployment. Even though the detent's a bit strong, it's not ridiculously so. And I've only had this thing for, I don't know, a week and a half, and it's already breaking in pretty good. So, I think after another couple weeks, it'll be perfectly fine. Value. This one took me a minute, but I have to give it again to the Natrix, which I'm surprised to say that because you are getting D2 steel for a really good price, which, feel free to disagree with me on this one, but you are getting D2 for a very good price, but you're getting a whole lot of other stuff with the Natrix Carbon, which kind of surprises me. You're getting, for me to say this, you're getting ball bearings, you're getting deep carry pot clip, you're getting a lot better looks, you're getting kind of a unique, cool design, where this is just kind of a generic D2 flipper. And you're also getting Kershaw's amazing warranty. I've never had any problems with steel wheel, but I know that Kershaw is fantastic. Everything I've sent them, they've replaced, no questions asked. They've always been super, super cool. I sent them back one knife a couple years ago that I know I screwed up, and they didn't ask anything. They just replaced it and didn't say another word about it. So you have that. A really good U.S. support system. These are both Chinese made, but this has a really big company based in the U.S. behind it. Steel Wheel also based in the U.S. A little bit smaller company. I don't know. I just know Kershaw's warranty is a known quantity, and it's a very good one. Other than the steel, there's nothing that I think is better bang for the buck about this than there is about the Natrix. I hope that's making sense. So by scores, it's 4-2, very clear win for the Challenger, the upset win for the Natrix carbon fiber. That said, if you're looking for a rough-duty working knife, if you're working on a construction site or something and you just want something to carry around and beat on, yeah, get this one. It's D2. You're not going to sharpen it as much. It may patina a bit or whatever, but it's more comfortable in the hand, and it's a good hardcore working knife. But if you're looking for an EDC kind of general thing, you maybe you only own a couple of knives, or this is your only one. This is a much better all-arounder in my opinion. It's lighter, slimmer, easier to carry, fun to play with. I agree with the score that I would pick the Natrix over the Modus, but totally can see why you would. So if you want to flame me in the comments down below, go ahead, but I'm not going to argue with you. I can totally see why you would pick the Modus over this, but I personally would pick the Natrix carbon fiber over it, which is not the result that I was expecting, honestly. I honestly expected this to be the three-time champion, but it's not going to be. It's been defeated. It's now 2-1. It won't go away. You'll be able to see it here on the channels and some other comparison review sometime soon, I bet. But hope you guys have enjoyed this and found it to be informative. I like doing these comparison things, and you guys have said you do, so I got a couple more coming up in the next couple weeks, so hope you guys enjoy them also. I've been Brian. Please like and subscribe and all that crap. Have a good one.